There is a sacred law behind your hardship. The deeper the night, the closer the dawn. The greater your struggle, the greater your soul is preparing to rise. What you are facing is not a mistake. It is an invitation. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you and for you. The pressure you feel is not breaking you, it is making you. Everything you call a struggle is simply life showing you what you still believe about yourself. It's showing you where you have assumed weakness, where you have accepted limitation, where you have not yet claimed your divine power. The struggle only exists because you have not yet imagined yourself beyond it. The moment you assume it is finished, the moment you dwell in the state of freedom, the path begins to open. You see, reality bends to your inner acceptance, not to your effort, not to your force, but to your inner assumption. If you walk around believing your struggle defines you, you create a loop of delay. But the moment you rise and assume the end, you command reality to reorganize. And it does. There is no mountain you must climb, no problem you must solve. There is only a version of you that already exists, free, whole, fulfilled. And you must align with that version now. Close your eyes. Feel the end, not the process, not the question, not the waiting, just the end. Feel what it's like to have the thing you've cried for. Feel what it's like to know it's yours. Breathe there. Live there. And when you open your eyes, walk like it's done. You may still see shadows of struggle. Don't be fooled. That's just the echo of your old state. You have shifted. Reality is catching up. Let the pain be the proof that something bigger is coming. Let the resistance remind you how powerful you truly are. Don't curse the struggle. Bless it. It's lifting you. Because the truth is simple. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the breakthrough. And the breakthrough is already yours. Struggles are not punishments. They are sacred preparations. Life is not withholding from you. It is readying you. Every hardship you endure, every obstacle that rises in your path, every moment where it feels like everything is against you, it is all part of a deeper unfolding. The magnitude of your struggle is not a sign of failure or disfavor, but a divine measurement of the blessing that is forming behind the veil. You are not being abandoned. You are being expanded. When something extraordinary is coming, it requires a vessel strong enough, wide enough, deep enough to carry it. And you, in your current form, may not yet be ready to hold what you have asked for. So life begins to shape you. It bends you. It tests your foundation. The weight you feel pressing against you is not there to crush you, but to stretch you. To stretch your faith, your patience, your vision, your endurance. Is asking, can you hold more than you've ever held before? And that's what struggle really is. It's the invisible hands of transformation molding you into someone greater, into someone who no longer reacts with fear but responds with clarity, someone who no longer doubts their worth but walks with unshakable inner knowing, someone who no longer looks for evidence outside but feels the truth of it within. Most people misread struggle as punishment. They say, why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But that is the illusion. You did not do something wrong, you did something right. You dared to dream, you dared to ask for more, you dared to believe there's something beyond the life you've been living, and because of that, life is responding. The storm isn't a rejection, it's a recalibration. The chaos isn't confusion, it's construction. You are not the victim of your external conditions. You are the creator of a new internal state. As you hold a new self-concept, a new belief, a new vision, your reality begins to shift in response. But before it can bloom, the old must be dismantled. And that dismantling doesn't always feel pretty. It feels like loss. It feels like fear. It feels like things falling apart. But remember, what feels like falling apart is often just a higher order coming together. When you feel like everything is being stripped from you, understand this. You are not being punished. You are being prepared to hold something far greater than you could have imagined. The vessel of your life is being expanded to hold a deeper peace, a bigger love, a higher abundance. So don't curse your struggle. Don't run from it. Don't resent it. Honor it. Walk through it with your head high. Let it do its holy work in you. For what awaits on the other side is not just a blessing. It is the version of you who is always meant to receive it. You are not meant to run from the storm. You are not here to escape the difficulty, to find a way around it, or to wait for it to pass so you can breathe again. You are meant to go through it, not as a victim, but as a creator discovering their strength. The purpose of the storm is not to harm you, but to awaken you. It is not your enemy, it is your teacher. So many spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort, trying to shield themselves from the messiness of transformation. But the truth is, transformation is rarely gentle. It arrives like a wind that overturns everything that is small, false, or fragile within you. The storm comes to strip away what you no longer need, the outdated beliefs, the borrowed identities, the illusions you've carried for far too long. And in the middle of that chaos, something holy begins to emerge. A deeper part of you wakes up, a part of you that does not collapse under pressure, but rises because of it. You stop trying to change the outer world and instead shift your inner state. You no longer beg for peace. You become it. You become the calm in the eye of the storm. This is the secret the world forgets. You are not meant to fight the storm. You are meant to still it by transforming yourself. You do not escape the pain by denying it. You transmute it by allowing it to show you where your power has been hidden. Every challenge, every dark night, every betrayal or setback is coded with the opportunity to remember who you truly are. The storm you are facing is not a sign that you are weak. It is the very evidence that you are ready to rise. It only feels unbearable because it is calling you to shed the layers of who you are not. It is calling you to remember that you are not your circumstances, not your mistakes, not your emotions. You are the observer, the chooser, the imaginer. You are the stillness beneath the waves, the light that never flickers, the essence that remains even when everything else falls away. So when the storm rages, don't run. Sit in the center of it and breathe. Let the winds tear away your doubt. Let the rain wash away your fear. Let the thunder echo the truth that was always within you. That you are unshakable when you choose to be. That your peace is not tied to conditions, but to the state you dwell in. You don't climb out of the storm by resisting it. You rise through it by becoming the presence that transforms it. You become the calm, not by waiting for everything to settle, but by choosing that stillness in the middle of it all. And when you do, you don't just survive the storm, you transcend it. And what once threatened to break you becomes the very thing that reveals your power. Pain is not the enemy, resistance is. When you fight what you feel, you become trapped by it. But when you fully allow yourself to feel, without judgment, without fear, without rushing to escape, you step into the secret doorway of transformation. The struggle is not something to overcome by force. It is something to pass through with feeling. And that feeling, when aligned with your desired end, becomes the key that unlocks a new reality. Most people resist pain because they believe it shouldn't be there. They see discomfort as a problem to fix, a signal that something is wrong. But what if pain was not wrong? What if it was a necessary fire, burning away everything that no longer serves your highest vision? What if feeling the pain fully was the very act that alchemizes it into power. You see, the path through struggle is not numbness. It is not denial. It is presence. When you bring your full awareness to the pain, when you meet it with love instead of resistance, it begins to shift. It no longer controls you. It becomes energy in motion. And in that motion, you can redirect it. This is where the secret lies. In the middle of the storm, you do not need to fix the outer world. You need only to feel the inner world differently. When you close your eyes, breathe deeply and assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Even while everything around you screams otherwise, you are stepping out of the known and into the creative. Struggle exists when your current state contradicts your inner desire. But when you feel from the desire already fulfilled, you collapse that contradiction. You bring the two into harmony. And that harmony creates movement. Movement not just inside, but outside. Life begins to mirror what you hold in consciousness, not what you beg for or stress over. You must stop asking, when will it end, and begin asking, what would I feel like if it were already done? That is the feeling that ends the struggle. That is the inner alignment that gives birth to the breakthrough. And this is not about pretending. It is about knowing. It is about touching the feeling so deeply that it becomes more real than your current circumstances. You carry the emotion of peace even when chaos surrounds you. You hold the vibration of abundance even when the bank account says lack. You feel loved even when you are alone. That kind of feeling is not fantasy. It is faith in action. It is the choice to live from the truth that all creation begins within. You do not feel after the change. You feel before it. And that feeling makes it inevitable. So when the pain arises, let it come. Do not run. Let it teach you. Let it burn through the layers of fear. And then, within that space of openness, fill it with the feeling of what you've been praying for. Dwell there, live there, and soon the struggle will dissolve. Not because you forced it to, but because you no longer needed it to stay. The struggle you feel is not born from the world around you. It's born from what you have accepted within you. You are not fighting against people, conditions, or events. You are wrestling with your own assumptions, and those assumptions are shaping everything you see, feel, and experience. The outer world is not the source of your suffering. It is the mirror of your state. Every day you walk through a reality constructed by your inner beliefs. If you assume limitation, life gives you limits. If you assume rejection, you meet it in every interaction. If you assume delay, your desires seem to drift further out of reach. But the moment you change the assumption, the moment you decide something else is true, the struggle begins to dissolve. It's not the facts that bind you, it's your agreement with them. Most people are not aware they are assuming anything. They think they are just facing reality, but what is reality really? It is only a reflection of what has been accepted as true on the inside. It is the echo of yesterday's beliefs. And when you believe in struggle, when you assume that breakthrough is hard, that change takes time, that success is for someone else, life reflects that back to you perfectly. You must realize that your assumptions are not passive, they are creative, they are alive. They are the seeds from which your world grows. If you assume lack, it multiplies. If you assume abundance, it begins to show up in ways you never expected. The change begins not when things shift outwardly, but when you shift inwardly and hold firm to a new assumption, one that aligns with your highest vision. The struggle ends the moment you refuse to believe in it. You don't have to fight it. You simply have to assume something else is already true. The version of you who has already overcome it doesn't struggle. They don't worry. They don't wonder if it will happen. They rest in the certainty that it is done. When you rise in consciousness and say, I no longer accept this as my truth, you initiate a quiet revolution within. That inner shift sends out ripples that reorganize everything around you. You do not have to figure out how it changes. You only have to remain loyal to the new assumption. This is not about pretending or positive thinking. It is about spiritual law. As you assume, so shall it be. Hold to the assumption that you are already healed, already whole, already chosen, already blessed. And life must conform. The moment you wake up to this truth, the struggle begins to collapse like a dream when you open your eyes. You realize it was never the world that held you back, it was the story you kept repeating to yourself. Change the story, change the assumption, and the struggle will vanish like mist in the morning light. Delay is not denial, it is divine orchestration. What seems like a pause, a blockage, or a detour is often the most sacred part of the journey. It is not a punishment or a rejection, it is timing in its highest form. There is a rhythm to your life, a spiritual clock that does not operate on your impatience, but on alignment, readiness, and transformation. When you ask for something, deeply, sincerely, life begins to shift. But what you often don't realize is that the answer isn't always immediate, because you are not always ready to receive it in full. And that's not a flaw in you, it's part of the process. You're becoming the version of yourself who can not only receive the blessing, but hold it, grow it, and carry the responsibility it brings. The delay is not empty. It's not a waiting room where nothing happens. It is the pressure of spiritual energy, building and aligning everything within and around you. That tension you feel, the restlessness, the doubt, the longing, is not a sign that it's not coming. It's a sign that it's near. You're being stretched, expanded, prepared. The ground beneath your feet is being strengthened for something bigger than you asked for. We often beg for speed, thinking fast is better, but the truth is, what comes too soon can collapse just as quickly. You may want the breakthrough, but life wants you to be anchored first. Because real manifestation isn't about the moment of arrival. It's about becoming the person who lives in that new reality without fear of losing it. You must shift from chasing outcomes to cultivating states. Ask yourself, am I becoming the one who would naturally live the life I desire? That is the real work. Not forcing change outwardly, but transforming inwardly. Delay is where this alchemy happens. The longer it takes, the more powerful it becomes, because you are growing into someone greater than you once imagined. Spiritual timing is precise. It is never early, it is never late. It is aligned with your becoming. And that means every moment of delay is not time wasted. It is evidence that something sacred is underway. You are not being denied, you are being developed. So stop looking outward for confirmation. Walk inward, strengthen your inner state, deepen your trust, anchor your identity in the end result, not in the current delay. Say to yourself, it is already done. I may not see it, but I know it. That knowing is what dissolves the illusion of delay. That knowing is what activates alignment. Alignment. Delay is only painful when you doubt its purpose. But when you trust it, you begin to see the hidden genius in the timing. You begin to feel grateful even in the waiting, because you know, deep down, that the longer it takes, the greater it will be. And when it arrives, it won't just meet your expectations, it will exceed them. Because you didn't settle. You aligned, you expanded, you trusted. And now the blessing is shaped not only for you, but by you. Breakthrough is not something that arrives from the outside, it is something that unfolds from within. And the paradox is this: the moment you stop desperately needing a breakthrough is the very moment it begins to appear. When you release the grasping, the craving, the pleading for things to shift, you enter into a space of true power. You are no longer driven by fear of lack. You are anchored in the knowing that what you seek is already yours. You see, many people live in a constant state of hoping, waiting, and striving. They chase outcomes, force timing, and beg the universe for change. But that very posture of lack, of desperation, of needing, is the thing that keeps the breakthrough at bay. Because needing implies you don't yet have. It affirms separation. It says, I am not yet the one who receives. And the world reflects that assumption perfectly. But when you drop the need and enter the state of fulfillment, everything shifts. You stop looking for signs because you already feel the truth. You stop measuring time because you are living from the end. You stop controlling the outer because you have mastered the inner. That is where breakthrough begins. Not in force, but in surrender. Not in chasing, but in being. The real breakthrough is you. It's the shift in consciousness, the internal alignment with the version of yourself that already has the thing you once longed for. You no longer need it to arrive, because you know it already exists in the unseen. You have assumed the identity of the one who has it, and that assumption moves mountains. Reality is obedient. It does not respond to begging. It responds to belief. When you walk as if it is already done, when you speak, think, and feel from that state, you collapse the distance between desire and manifestation. There is no delay when there is no doubt. This is not about giving up. It is about letting go of attachment. It is about stepping into a deeper trust, one that says, I no longer need proof. My feeling is the proof. My inner knowing is enough. That level of certainty magnetizes results. It draws them in not because you need them, but because you are already aligned with them. The moment you stop needing the breakthrough, you reveal your power. You stop being a seeker and you become a creator. You realize the outer world is a mirror, not a master. And as you change, it must follow. The breakthrough doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. It is born the instant you shift from waiting to knowing, from striving to being. Let that be your turning point. Don't chase what is already yours. Don't plead with what is already promised. Instead, stand still, close your eyes, and feel the joy of it fulfilled. Dwell there. Live from there. That's where the real breakthrough lives. And once you embody that state, the outer has no choice but to respond. The struggle you face is not a sign that you're failing. It's the evidence that something greater is unfolding through you. Each delay, each challenge, each moment of tension is preparing you, not punishing you. You are not here to escape the storm, but to become the calm within it. The breakthrough you seek is not out there waiting to arrive. It's already alive within you, waiting for your recognition. When you shift your assumptions, feel your desires as already fulfilled, and let go of the need for proof, the world must bend to match your inner state. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the breakthrough. Not because life is testing you, but because you are expanding to receive more than you imagined. The moment you stop chasing and start embodying, the breakthrough is no longer a possibility, it becomes inevitable. Sincere thanks. Thank you for listening with an open heart and a willing spirit. May these words awaken the strength, the peace, and the power that already live within you. Keep rising, keep trusting. The breakthrough is already yours. Close your eyes. and say it with full conviction. I already have it. It is done. I am living in the overflow. The lottery is mine. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. You see, it is not about the ticket, the numbers, or the odds. It is about the inner state. The world around you only reflects what you dare to believe within. You are not waiting to win. You have already won. Each morning you are given a blank check. Your words write the amount. So when you rise, rise not as a seeker, but as a possessor. Speak to yourself as one who has. Feel the cool touch of the metal door on your new home. Smell the leather of your new car. Taste the freedom that money cannot buy. The world will try to tell you it's impossible, but it is not the world's opinion that manifests. It is your faith. Do not beg life to give you what is already yours. Simply assume the role. Act in quiet confidence. Move in calm assurance. And above all, say it every morning. The lottery is mine. I live as the one who already has. I give thanks for what is done. You're not casting spells. You're not wishing. You're remembering who you are. The winner, the chosen, the wealthy one. Keep saying it, keep feeling it, keep living it, until the world bows to what you have declared in the silence of your mornings. What you mentally accept as true becomes your lived experience. This is the secret the world overlooks in its obsession with action and outer circumstances. The truth is simple. Your inner state shapes your outer world. The lottery is not a matter of luck or chance. It is a state of mind, a condition of belief. You do not win it by wishing. You win it by knowing. Everything begins within. There is no exception to this rule. You must first win in your imagination before you can ever hold it in your hand. This is not fantasy, this is law. You must dare to believe something greater than your senses. The moment you imagine something clearly, feel it fully, and accept it as real, you begin the process of making it so. Imagination is not weak. It is not child's play. It is the creative force of life itself. If you see yourself as poor, struggling, or always trying to get ahead, your world will mirror that. If you rise each morning and declare, I am already wealthy, the lottery is mine, and you feel the truth of that statement in your bones, then the world must by law shape itself to fit that inner conviction. Most people wait for proof before they believe, but that is not how life works. Belief is the proof. Imagination is the cause. Reality is only the effect. You must learn to live from the end, not toward it. When you wake up and say the lottery is already mine, you are not lying to yourself. You are speaking from a deeper truth. A truth the physical world has not yet caught up with, but must obey in time. When a gardener plants a seed, he does not doubt that it will become a tree. He waters it, he nurtures it, he expects it. He doesn't say, let me see the fruit first. He simply knows what is coming. That's the power of imagination properly used. That's how you must speak your morning words. That's how you must carry your day. Knowing, feeling, trust. If you can imagine the scene of your life after winning, if you can hear the congratulations, feel the abundance, see your new lifestyle and taste your new freedom, then you are already there. You don't need to ask how. The how is not your concern. The mind that imagines the end will create the means. The path will form beneath your feet. Doors will open, chances will unfold in your favor. But none of it can happen until you dare to live as if it has already happened. Your present reality is only a result of past thoughts. If you want a new future, you must think new thoughts. You must see new scenes. You must accept a new self-image. one who already has, one who is already blessed, one who no longer tries but receives. You don't wait to feel like a winner. You feel like a winner first, and that feeling births the reality. The world is but a mirror. Change the image you hold inside, and the mirror will show you a different face. Say it, feel it, believe it. Every morning, the lottery is already mine, and the world will respond accordingly. Wake up each morning as though you have already won. Not as someone who is waiting for their blessing to arrive, but as one who is already living in the fullness of it. This is the key to everything. Most people live in a state of delay. They wait, they beg, they hope. But the truth is, hope is passive. Assumption is power. You must move from the wishful to the certain, from dreaming to dwelling. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you enter the state where the unseen becomes inevitable. Your feelings are the language of creation. They speak louder than your words and more clearly than your actions. What you feel consistently, you experience inevitably. So when you rise each day, don't ask when your blessing will arrive. Don't look for signs. Instead, feel that it has already come. Let your first breath of the day be filled with gratitude, not for what you want, but for what already is. Because in the realm of imagination, in the truth beyond the senses, it already is. You must train yourself to live in the end. This is not pretending, this is faith in motion. Pretending has doubt hidden within it, but assumption is rooted in conviction. The one who assumes doesn't hope for change. They live the change now. You must feel the joy of receiving the thing you desire. Feel it so deeply that it becomes your natural state. Walk as the one who has already won. Talk as the one whose life is already transformed. Think from the victory, not toward it. The mistake most people make is to try to get something rather than become it. But the truth is, you already are everything you desire to be. You just haven't accepted it yet. The feeling is the acceptance. The feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you collapse the distance between you and the outcome. There is no more waiting. There is only receiving. Think of a time you received something you deeply desired. Remember how you felt. Relieved, joyful, fulfilled. Now bring that same feeling to your current desire. Let it fill you. Let it move through you. Let it be the tone of your day. You do not need to see the evidence right away, because the feeling itself is the evidence. When you live in that inner world of fulfillment, the outer world must conform. It has no choice. It is only a reflection of your inner state. Each morning is a new creation. The moment you open your eyes, you are either stepping into an old story or a new one. You get to choose. So choose the end. Choose the joy. Choose the abundance. Choose to feel what it would be like if it were already done, and then move through your day as though nothing more needs to happen, because truly, nothing more does need to happen except your inner acceptance. You are not chasing. You are not waiting. You are receiving. Every breath, every step, every thought is shaped by the knowing, it is mine. Let that be your prayer. Let that be your posture. Assume the feeling, and the world must follow. What you say in the morning is not just a declaration. It is a spiritual transaction. You are not simply speaking into the air. You are impressing your reality onto the unseen, forming what will eventually become visible. Words are not empty sounds. They carry power, intention, and direction. They are tools of creation. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the fertile ground of consciousness, and that ground never forgets. Most people use their words to describe their life, but few realize that words are meant to design their life. When you wake up and say, I am blessed, I am wealthy, I am already living my dream, you are not making things up, you are calling them forth. You are aligning yourself with a version of reality that already exists beyond what your eyes can see. The invisible responds to the voice of certainty, not desperation, not pleading, but conviction. This is why it matters so deeply how you speak. If you declare from a place of lack, you create more lack. If you speak from the identity of the one who is still waiting, you extend the waiting. But when you speak from the identity of the one who already has, you bring that version of yourself into form. You shift realities with your voice. Each morning is sacred. The first words you speak are like keys. They open certain doors and close others. Most begin their day rehearsing what they lack, talking about what isn't working, what they fear, what hasn't arrived. And so unknowingly they reaffirm the very life they want to escape. But you can begin differently. You can rise and declare, it is already mine. I am the one who has. And with that, you begin to reshape the invisible mold from which your reality is cast. The truth is, there is no such thing as idle speech. Every word is charged with emotion, belief, and assumption. When you speak with awareness, your words become instruments of manifestation. You do not need to see immediate evidence. That's not how it works. You need only speak as though it is done and remain loyal to that assumption. The invisible is patient, but it is also obedient. It must follow the script you give it. Say it every morning. The lottery is already mine, not as a fantasy, but as a fact in the unseen. Speak it with ease. Speak it with joy. Speak it as one who no longer questions whether it will come, but who simply expects life to mirror what has already been accepted within. Your words become the path under your feet. They go before you and prepare the way. When spoken with clarity and feeling, they draw to you the experiences that match your inner tone. So do not waste your speech describing what you don't want. Instead, use your voice to declare what already is. Let your morning words be filled with certainty. Let them paint the image of your fulfilled desire. Because once you speak from the end, the journey begins to rearrange itself. The invisible hears you, and it always answers according to the words you dare to speak. The lottery is not coming to you, it is already yours. This is not about attracting something from the outside world. This is about revealing what has always been within you. There is nothing to chase, nothing to earn, nothing to wait for. The moment you understand this, you stop asking and start accepting. Morning words are not a request, they are a revelation. They peel back the illusion of lack and uncover the truth that abundance is already yours by right of consciousness. You do not draw things to you like a magnet. You become the version of yourself that already lives in the desired state, and in doing so, you reveal what matches that identity. It was never about pulling something from outside into your world. It has always been about aligning with what is already present on a higher frequency. The lottery, the wealth, the joy, it exists now. You're not trying to bring it into your life. You're waking up to the fact that it's already part of your life, just beyond the veil of appearances. Each morning when you speak words of truth, when you say, I am wealthy, I am chosen, the lottery is already mine, you are stripping away the false identity of the one who lacks. You are peeling back the layers of doubt, fear, and waiting that have kept you blind to what was always there. The lottery doesn't arrive. It is revealed to the one who accepts it as their natural state. What you call your life right now is simply a reflection of your previous assumptions. You don't need to go out and chase something new. You need only to remove the assumptions that say it's not yet here. Speak with clarity. Speak with intention. Speak not as one trying to get, but as one who already has. In that moment, your words become a spiritual cleansing, wiping away every lie of limitation. There is a version of you who is not surprised by wealth, not shocked by miracles, not amazed when things go right. That version is calm, assured, and already in possession of everything they once longed for. Your job is to become that version, not by force, but by recognition. Each morning is your opportunity to remember who you truly are, not a beggar, not a seeker, but a revealer of the divine wealth within. Morning words, spoken in faith, awaken you to your real self. They don't summon things. They reveal alignment. They anchor you in the truth that what you seek is already woven into the fabric of your being. The more you speak from that truth, the more your life mirrors that identity. It doesn't matter what yesterday looked like. It doesn't matter what your bank account says. You are not defined by appearances. You are defined by the unseen reality you dare to claim. So say it each morning with peace and power. The lottery is already mine. Not to convince the universe, but to remind yourself. You're not attracting, you're revealing. And the clearer you see this truth, the more naturally your world begins to change. Because when you let go of the illusion of lack, only abundance remains. Every morning you are given a choice to return to the old version of yourself or to persist in the new. You are not waiting on the world to change. The world is waiting on you to hold your shape, to remain unmoved in your inner assumption, because that is the key. Persistence, repetition, conviction. Not for one day, not for a moment, but until the world has no choice but to mirror the image you hold inside. This is where most give up. They assume the state of the winner one morning, maybe two. They feel the joy of already having, they speak the words of wealth, and for a moment they believe. But then the world shows them something different and they fall back into doubt. They speak the words again, but this time not with certainty, this time with desperation. And the result is more waiting, more hoping, more distance. But the one who persists does not ask when. They do not need signs. They live in the end. Every morning they return to the feeling. Every morning they build the reality within, brick by brick. They wake up not as the one who hopes to win, but as the one who has already won. And they stay there. That's the difference. That's the secret. They stay. Persistence is not about effort. It's about identity. It is holding the state even when the world tempts you to leave it, even when you don't yet see the evidence, because the evidence will come, not as a reward, but as a reflection. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to remain faithful to the unseen truth. Each morning, when you rise and say, "The lottery is already mine," you are not lying, you are aligning. You are choosing to live from the truth that what you desire is already accomplished in the invisible. And every time you repeat that assumption, you strengthen it. Every time you refuse to fall into doubt, you solidify the image. And eventually, the world yields. You may not notice it at first. The change is subtle. A conversation here, a new opportunity there. But slowly, and then all at once, the reality you persisted in becomes the life you wake up to. This is not magic. This is law. The outer world cannot resist the inner pattern that is held with persistence. So speak the words each day. Feel the victory. Wear the identity. Not for show, not to trick the universe, but because you are that version already. The world is only catching up. Don't look to see if it's working, assume that it is. Don't ask if it's coming, assume it's already here, and keep going. You are not building a fantasy, you are building faith. And faith, when it is maintained, always manifests. The only question is whether you will persist long enough for the world to echo back the song you've been singing. Say it again in the morning. Say it until it's second nature. Say it until you don't even question it. Because when you persist in the assumption of the winner, the world must reflect that back. It is not optional, it is law. Faith is not a feeling. It is not a fleeting emotion that comes and goes depending on what the world shows you. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. It is the quiet, unshakable decision to remain aligned with what you know deep within, even when everything outside of you says otherwise. Faith does not ask for evidence, it creates it. Every morning when you rise and speak your truth, the lottery is already mine. You are not just affirming a desire, you are practicing loyalty. You are choosing to believe in the unseen over the seen. You are choosing to trust your inner knowing more than your bank account, more than the news, more than the doubts that try to creep in. And this is what separates those who live in fulfillment from those who live in waiting. They remain faithful to what cannot yet be touched or seen. You must understand this. Your senses are not the source of truth. They only show the echo of past assumptions. What you see today is the harvest of yesterday's beliefs. So if you wish to change your world, you must stop reacting to what is and start responding to what you know. And what you know is that it is already done, already yours, already complete. This is not blind hope. This is disciplined focus. This is the conscious refusal to allow temporary conditions to shake your belief. Faith holds firm. It says, I will not be moved by appearances. I will not be seduced by delay. I know what I know, and I choose to dwell there. That kind of faith bends reality. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. The moment you choose to give your energy, your time, your words, and your vision to the unseen rather than the seen, you initiate the process of manifestation. The unseen is not far away. It is here now, layered just beneath the visible world, waiting for your sustained attention to bring it into form. This is why your morning words matter. They are not just affirmations, they are acts of loyalty. Every time you declare, I am the winner, it is already mine, you are feeding the reality you've chosen. You are proving your faith not with emotion but with repetition. You are showing the universe that you trust the inner knowing more than you fear the outer facts. The outer begins to change, not because you chased it, not because you forced it, but because you remained. Because you did not waver, because you stayed true to the reality that only you could see long enough for the rest of the world to see it too. Faith is your power, not the kind that waits, but the kind that knows. The kind that stands tall in the invisible and says, this is real. Let others doubt, let conditions shift, let nothing disturb your inner world, because you already know what you have accepted in imagination is more real than anything the senses can offer. Stay loyal to that truth, and the world will catch up. It always does. And so, each morning becomes a sacred moment, a chance to align, to declare, to remember. You are not a beggar hoping to be chosen by fate. You are the creator, the imaginer, the revealer of truth. The lottery is already yours, not because you chase it, but because you claim it in consciousness. You assume it, you speak it, you persist in it. You walk by faith and not by sight. No more waiting, no more doubting. Each word you speak in the morning is not a wish. It is a command. A spiritual decree that moves unseen forces to shape the visible world. Keep your attention on what is already done within. Be loyal to the unseen, and you will watch the seen bend to meet you. Now, go on, say it again. The lottery is already mine, not to get it, but to reveal it. Not to convince, but to confirm, because you know now, it has always been yours. Thank you. My friend, today I want to offer you a truth so simple, so quiet that most overlook it. You do not need to struggle to act or to make things happen in the world. You only need to listen, but not to the noise of the world. You must listen with your inner ear, to the whispers of imagination, to the sound of your wish fulfilled. We have been taught that action changes the world, but the deepest truths are always reversed. It is not action that creates change, but assumption. And assumption comes through inner hearing. What would you hear if your desire were already realized? Would you hear a friend congratulating you? Would you hear yourself saying, "I can't believe it, I actually won"? Would you hear the subtle sounds of celebration, the clink of glasses, the laughter, the phone call from the lottery office? Let those sounds be more real to you than the silence of your current bank account. Let the unseen ear hear it and believe in what you hear. You see, creation is already finished. The winning version of you already exists. The world you long for is not out there waiting to be built. It is waiting to be accepted. The moment you listen to the sounds of success and truly believe in them, you shift into a state where that success is inevitable. You don't need to chase or force. You don't need to figure out how the numbers will line up or how the ticket will find its way to you. That is not your concern. Close your eyes. Hear the voice that tells you you've won. Hear it from a friend, a stranger, a sibling. Hear the inflection in their voice. Hear the joy in your own. Make it vivid, make it real. And then rest in it. Refuse to listen to the voice of doubt. Refuse the world when it tells you it's impossible. Refuse the evidence of your senses. Instead, return again and again to that holy moment where you heard the truth before the world confirmed it. And when doubt arises, as it always tries to, do not fight it. Simply return, hear it again, hear it better, hear it more clearly. Your persistence in listening is your only action. Faith is the bridge between the world within and the world without. And faith comes by hearing, not once but continually. So I say to you now, dare to listen. Dare to trust the sound that comes not from the outside, but from the depths of your own being. Dare to let it be enough. The lottery is won in silence before it is won in the world. Listen and it is done. The world teaches us to move, to chase, to act. We are conditioned from birth to believe that effort is the engine of success and that only by striving can we become worthy of the things we desire. Action is glorified. Hustle is rewarded. Constant doing is mistaken for progress. And yet beneath all the noise, beneath the pressure, beneath the world of sweat and struggle, there is another voice. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It does not shout or clamor. And this whisper, if you learn to hear it, will unlock doors the world says are impossible to open. This whisper lives within you. It is the voice of imagination. It is the sound of the unseen reality that already exists. You see, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of the inner one. And before anything appears in the visible realm, it is first created in silence, in stillness, in the invisible sanctuary of your mind. All things, no matter how grand or small, are born from hearing, not with the physical ears, but with the ear of imagination. To listen in this way is not to beg or to plead, but to receive. To listen is to accept the voice of your fulfilled desire as already true. So ask yourself, what would you hear if your wish were already fulfilled? What would someone say to you if you had already achieved your greatest dream? Would they congratulate you? Would they celebrate your breakthrough? Would they say, I always knew this day would come for you? Would you hear your own voice saying, I did it? Let this be your practice, to sit in stillness and to listen not to the world, not to your fears, not to your doubts, but to the reality you desire as though it were already done. You are not imagining for the sake of pretending. You are imagining because the act of listening inwardly with faith is creative. It brings forth the unseen into the seen. It plants the seed of experience in the soil of consciousness. And from that soil, in due time, the outer world must respond. This is why listening is the secret door. It seems too simple to be powerful. It seems passive. But nothing could be further from the truth. True listening is the most active and potent form of creation, because it aligns you with the state of your wish fulfilled. When you hear the inner dialogue of success, when you hear the laughter of joy, when you hear the words of victory, without contradiction, without doubting, without needing proof, you are stepping through the door into that very state. And once you enter the state, the world reshapes to reflect it. There is nothing to earn, there is nothing to force, there is only the state to occupy. And that state is entered not by effort but by hearing rightly. So let the world run and strive and scream. Let it exhaust itself trying to push and pull circumstances into place. You, however, may retreat into the quiet chamber of your being. You may close your eyes and hear the sounds of the life you choose to live. Let that inner sound become more real than the noise outside you. Let it become your truth. And as you return to it, night after night, morning after morning, you will find that the outer world begins to echo what you have heard in silence. The voices of doubt will fade. The voices of fear will weaken. And one day you will hear those very same words spoken aloud in the world, congratulations. You did it. You really did it. And when that moment comes, you will not be surprised. You will smile quietly because you will have already heard it. You knew the secret. Assume the voice within is real, not symbolic, not metaphorical, not wishful thinking, but real, vibrant, powerful, and creative. Most people live their entire lives listening to the world outside. They take their cues from circumstances, from bank accounts, from statistics, and from the voices of others who tell them what is and isn't possible. They trust outer facts, but disregard inner knowing. They believe the five senses, but ignore the sixth, the one that speaks in silence, in vision, and in soundless words. But the truth is this: your imagination is not a fantasy. It's the first stage of reality. What you hear in imagination is not make-believe. It is the seed of manifestation. Just as the invisible root system of a tree determines the strength and shape of the branches, your inner hearing determines what the outer world must echo. When you inwardly hear yourself being praised, congratulated, recognized, or rewarded, you are not escaping reality. You are laying the foundation for it. You are planting the seed. If you hear the words, congratulations, you've won, and you believe them, not intellectually, but emotionally, you have crossed a threshold. You are no longer hoping or wishing. You are receiving the truth before the world is ready to confirm it. And that is the great key, to accept the inner voice as more authoritative than the outer noise. It takes courage. The world will call it delusion. Your senses will protest. Logic will demand evidence. But you must be still, and you must believe. You must learn to walk by inner hearing, not by sight. What you hear within becomes the structure of your life. Whether you realize it or not, your outer world already reflects your inner conversations. The words you accept in silence, those murmurs of lack or wealth, rejection or love, fear or freedom, become the experiences that unfold in time. So choose carefully what you allow yourself to hear. Speak with intention, and then listen inwardly with faith. Let the voice of your fulfilled desire rise from within. Don't interrupt it with doubt. Don't challenge it with how. Simply accept it as real and feel the emotion that accompanies it. Feel the pride, the joy, the excitement. If it brings tears to your eyes, let them come. That is the sign you've heard correctly. You see, the voice within is not a rehearsal, it is a declaration. When you imagine someone saying, "You did it, you really won," don't brush it off as childish. Embrace it as sacred. That phrase, though spoken in silence, is more powerful than any news report, any forecast, any analysis the world can offer, because it did not come from the world. It came from within you, from the divine creative center of your being. And when you assume it is real, you activate a force that bends reality to match your assumption. You do not have to convince anyone. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need permission to believe. You only need to assume the voice is real. Let that be your secret. Let that be your quiet power. While others are waiting for signs, you have already received the word. While others check the odds, you rest in certainty. While others fear, you rejoice, because you have heard what matters most. The world is a mirror, and it must reflect the voice you entertain within. If the inner voice says you are wealthy, loved, chosen, or victorious, and you accept that voice with emotion and repetition, then the mirror of life will eventually show it back to you. It cannot do otherwise. So assume the voice within is real. Trust what you hear in the silence more than what you see in the crowd. Keep returning to that sound over and over until it becomes the only truth you know. And when the world finally catches up, when the check arrives, when the call comes, when the doors swing open, you will not be surprised. You will smile quietly and think to yourself, let those words settle into you, not as a concept, but as a revelation. Everything you have ever desired already exists in the invisible realm of consciousness. There is nothing to chase, nothing to build, nothing to beg for. There is only acceptance of the state in which your desire already lives. We are conditioned to believe that life is linear, that time separates us from what we want, and we must work our way toward it. But in truth, every possible version of your life already exists. There is a version of you who has already won the lottery, a version who already lives in abundance, a version who has already been chosen, celebrated, and elevated. That version isn't fiction, it's a state of consciousness. And that state is not waiting to be created, it is waiting to be occupied. You don't bring something new into being. You align with what already is. You see, life does not unfold because of external striving, but because of internal positioning. You move through life by moving within. The moment you inwardly listen and accept the sound of success, truly accept it as your reality, you step into a new state. You do not make it happen. You enter the frequency where it has already happened. And once you do that, the outer world must rearrange itself to match your inner acceptance. This is the secret. You are not becoming, you are selecting. You are not forcing, you are allowing. You are not climbing toward your dream, you are standing inside of it, even before the evidence appears. So when you sit in silence and hear the words, "You've won," and you allow that moment to feel natural, real, even familiar, you are not daydreaming. You are placing yourself into the state of the fulfilled desire. That simple act of listening, when done with faith and emotional acceptance, is more powerful than years of external effort. Why? Because you are no longer trying to become, You have become. You've entered the end result, and from that end, everything changes. People you've never met are moved to help you. Events unfold with perfect timing. Circumstances rearrange without your effort. And why? Because you dared to believe that creation was already finished, and you chose to dwell in the state where your wish is fulfilled. You must understand, every state is eternal. Once imagined, once felt, once accepted, it exists forever in the vast field of consciousness. But unless you occupy it, it remains a possibility, not a personal experience. The only difference between a dream and your life is the state you call home. So if you want to win the lottery, if you want to experience unimaginable abundance, stop thinking of it as a future event. Begin to hear the sounds of that reality now. Hear the excitement in someone's voice. Hear the banker's tone change when they speak to you. Hear your own voice saying, "It finally happened," and then rest. Not in anxiety, not in waiting, but in knowing. If you return to the end over and over, it will harden into fact. The outer world must conform to the state you faithfully dwell in. It cannot resist you forever. It has no choice but to reflect what you have already accepted as true. This is why you are not required to struggle or scheme. Your only task is to listen inwardly until the sound of your success feels natural, until it becomes your truth. There is nothing to chase, no ladder to climb, no door to knock on. Everything you desire already is. So close your eyes, listen deeply, and remember, creation is finished, and you're free to choose your state. The moment you do, life will unfold in ways that make it clear. You were never waiting for the blessing. You were always walking toward the version of you who had already received it. The conversations you have within yourself, the words you hear silently in the theater of your mind, are the very blueprint of your reality. They may seem invisible, casual, or harmless, but they are not. They are creative commands, and the outer world is simply the obedient servant of what you persist in hearing. Most people live unconscious lives not because they lack vision, but because they lack awareness of what they are consistently saying to themselves. Their minds are filled with habitual thoughts, inner dialogues of fear, defeat, delay, unworthiness. And yet they wonder why those same themes repeat externally. But the world has no choice. It must echo what you plant in it. It cannot bring you prosperity while you rehearse inner conversations of lack. It cannot bring you love while you keep hearing, "I'm always overlooked." It cannot bring you breakthrough while your dominant inner voice whispers, "It probably won't work." What you say inwardly is what will be said to you outwardly. This is the hidden cause of every experience. It is not fate, it is not luck, it is not even effort. It is the quality and persistence of your inner hearing. So listen carefully. What do you hear when you are alone and no one is watching? Do you hear yourself failing or succeeding? Do you hear the silence of emptiness or the applause of accomplishment? Do you hear your name being called in celebration or not at all? Begin to govern this inner soundscape, not with force, but with intention. You do not need to speak anything aloud for it to manifest. The world does not require your voice. It responds to your inner speech. The quiet, repetitive sentences you allow to echo within are taken as instruction. If you inwardly hear the words, "You always win," "Everything works out for you," "You are the chosen one," and you persist in that inner dialogue, the world must eventually take on that shape. It may not happen in a day, but it must happen, because what is impressed within will always be expressed without. This is the mystery behind every answered prayer, every lucky break, every door that seemed to open out of nowhere. It wasn't luck, it was inner hearing. The one who controls their inner conversation controls their reality. You do not need to fight the outer world, you only need to change the inner one. And when you do, the outer world, which only ever reflects, must conform. So if you desire to win the lottery, don't chase numbers or search for lucky signs. Instead, listen inwardly. Hear someone say, "You did it. I can't believe you won." Hear your own voice responding with joy, gratitude, or disbelief. Hear the celebration. Hear the confirmation. And most importantly, return to it daily. Let that scene play in your mind with such vivid clarity that it begins to feel familiar. When you reach the point where the inner sound feels more natural than your current condition, you've done the work. You've moved into alignment. The outer world will soon respond. And it will seem miraculous, but it won't be. It will be the direct result of your persistence. This is the silent alchemy of consciousness. This is the true use of imagination. This is the sacred power of inner hearing. So I ask you now, what are you listening to? What voices do you entertain in secret? What words are you allowing to echo in your mind? Because those words, those unseen sounds, are your future in seed form. Guard your inner ear. Feed it words of life, wealth, love, and success. Let your private speech match the life you wish to live. And as you persist in that tone, your world will rise up and reflect it detail by detail. You don't have to shout. You don't have to convince anyone. You only have to listen to what is true before it becomes visible. And when it arrives, you'll realize the outer world was never leading. That statement offends the logical mind. The world teaches you to act, to grind, to prove yourself through effort. Do more, they say. Push harder, hustle longer. Yet what if all the movement you see in the world is not the cause, but the effect of something deeper? What if the true cause of change is faith? Not in a deity on a throne above, but in the image and sound you accept within. You do not need to take massive action. You do not need to calculate every step. You do not need to chase the dream. You only need to persist in hearing the end as if it were already real, because it is. Faith is not wishing. Faith is inner certainty. It is the complete acceptance of the reality you have heard and seen inwardly. It is knowing that what you hear in the silence of imagination is already finished, already accomplished, waiting only for the outer world to echo it back. Let this truth settle in. Your faith in what you hear inwardly is enough. You do not need to lift a finger to prove anything. Faith will move people, events, timing, and circumstances in ways you could never orchestrate. Faith rearranges the universe, and it all begins within, where no one sees, no one hears, no one knows but you. When you inwardly hear you've won, and you persist in believing that sound, something powerful begins to happen. You enter a state, and from that state you attract the outer reflection of your inner conviction. It doesn't require force, it doesn't demand hustle, it only asks for faithful listening. Let others take action from fear and desperation. Let them burn themselves out in pursuit of external validation. You, however, walk a different path. You understand that faith is the action, hearing the outcome inwardly, and standing in that hearing as though it were true is the only movement required. This is not passivity. It is the highest form of creation. Faith is creative movement without physical motion. It is the invisible bridge between what is imagined and what becomes visible. When you persist in inner hearing, with no need for proof, no anxiety, no questioning, you have done more than any action could ever accomplish. You don't have to figure out the how. That is not your domain. The how belongs to the unseen intelligence that governs all creation. It is the orchestrator of timing, the shaper of form. Your job is simple. Believe in what you hear. Stay loyal to it. Let that inner sound become more familiar than your current condition. Say within yourself, "It is done," and refuse to contradict that truth with fear, doubt, or striving. Whenever the old world tries to call you back into worry, return instead to the sound of fulfillment. Hear the words again. You've won. You did it. It's yours. Let it soothe you. Let it guide you. Let it replace all need for action with stillness and certainty. Because from that stillness, your world will begin to move. And when it does, you won't have to do the heavy lifting. People will call, opportunities will arise, circumstances will align, not because you chased them, but because you became the one who already has what others are seeking. That is the secret. To act only when moved from within, not out of fear, but out of alignment. So stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What do I hear?" Because when what you hear is the sound of the end fulfilled, and you believe it with all your being, you will find that everything else is added unto you, easily, effortlessly, faithfully. And then you will know it was never your actions that made the dream come true. It was your inner hearing believed. Faith did the work, and that was more than enough. Once you have listened, truly listened, to the sound of your wish fulfilled, your work is not to return to the world of doubt and delay. Your only task now is to remain in the state of having, to live emotionally from the end, to feel as if the desire were already yours. Don't look around and ask, "Where is it?" Don't wonder, "When will it come?" Those questions belong to the state of lack, not fulfillment. Instead, move through your days with a quiet certainty, a sacred calm that comes from knowing that what you have heard inwardly must manifest outwardly. You are no longer hoping. You are no longer trying. You are being the version of yourself who already has it. And how does that version feel? Joyful, grateful, relaxed, empowered. There is no tension in the one who has already received. There is no begging, no proving, no watching the clock. There is only a deep exhale and a mood of fulfillment. It is not about walking around pretending. It's about embodying the emotion of the answered prayer. When you truly believe that it is done, your thoughts, posture, tone, and energy begin to reflect it. You are not acting, it becomes natural. The joy of receiving becomes your companion, and your entire being radiates the atmosphere of done. This is why inner hearing is only the beginning. Listening is how you enter the state, but staying in the mood is how you live in it. Imagine a person who has just received the news, "You've won the lottery." There is a subtle but unmistakable shift in their body. Their mood changes instantly, not because the money is in their hand, but because the truth has landed. The message is enough. Once you have heard the word within, it's yours. You've done it. You are chosen. You must allow that word to reshape your emotional climate. Let that inner announcement color the rest of your day. Let it govern how you walk, how you speak, how you view life. Don't drop it at the first sign of silence from the world. Hold it, feed it, live inside it. Because the world has no choice but to mirror your internal states. It cannot deliver to you what you have emotionally rejected, but it must reflect what you have emotionally accepted as real. So dwell in the mood, not for 5 minutes, not only when you're meditating, but as a new way of being. Let the atmosphere of success become your normal. Let peace be your default. Let excitement flow through you. not for what is coming, but for what is already yours in the invisible. Even if nothing appears to change externally, yet remain. Hold fast. Resist the urge to do something out of panic. The seed is planted. Let the mood be the sunlight that nourishes it. You do not bring about your desire by force. You bring it about by being in harmony with the version of you that already has it. The truth is, your outer world must yield to your inner conviction, but it will only do so when you stop wavering, when you stop shifting between faith and fear, between knowing and questioning. So choose the mood of fulfillment and dwell in it. Wake up in it, walk in it, sleep in it, speak from it. Make no room for the old story. Make no space for doubt. The old self may try to return with questions, but you no longer answer to it. You answer only to the mood of the fulfilled version of you. And as you remain in that feeling, it becomes substance. It becomes form. It becomes your reality. So when someone asks how you made it happen, how you won, how it all turned round, smile gently and say, I simply stayed in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The rest took care of itself. Now you see the truth that has always been within your grasp. Winning, achieving and manifesting are not about frantic action or endless striving. They begin and end with the quiet, faithful act of listening inwardly, embracing the reality of your desire as if it is already yours, and dwelling deeply in the mood of fulfillment. When you persist in this inner hearing and feeling, without doubt, without resistance, you align with the invisible power that moves mountains and shapes worlds. Remember, creation is finished. Your faith, your assumption, your inner hearing does all the work. The outer world simply follows where your consciousness leads. So rest in that truth. Live from that place and watch as life unfolds effortlessly before you. Thank you for listening, for opening your mind to this profound power within you. May you carry this knowing forward, and may all your deepest wishes be fulfilled beyond your wildest imagination. Thank you. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine holding the ticket. Feel the texture of it between your fingers. See the numbers match. Hear the announcement. Sense the excitement in the room, the trembling in your hands. Can you feel that? That feeling is the bridge. Everything begins with a word, and your word, spoken with belief, forms the unseen substance of reality. Say this daily, not as a wish, but as a law. Say it as though it is already done. I'm a magnet for miracles. The lottery is already mine. I feel the joy of receiving now. Repeat it, not with desperation, but with certainty. Not from lack, but from abundance. Do not chase the result. Instead, embody the reality where the result is natural. In that world, the lottery win is not a surprise. It is expected. It is the outpicturing of the state you now dwell in. You do not have to beg, you do not have to force. The moment you speak it and feel it, it is done. It must come, because it already exists. Every morning, before the noise of the world begins, say it, I am aligned with limitless wealth. The lottery is drawn in my favor. I am already chosen. Let the feeling flood your body, let it soak into your breath, let it echo in your chest, and as you walk through your day, let it guide your steps. Your imagination is not idle. It is divine. The one who speaks these words with faith is not hoping. They are commanding. And when you believe, not with effort but with ease, you'll find it arriving effortlessly. A phone call, a number match, a vibration answered. It is not the numbers that matter. It is the state you enter. And when you dwell in the state of, I already have it, the world will reflect that truth back to you. So say it again. I am the winner. I feel it. I know it. I accept it now. Not someday, not maybe, now. The unseen listens, the unseen obeys, the unseen becomes seen. Say this daily and watch the lottery come to you. What you imagine, you create. This is not a metaphor, it is not poetry or wishful thinking. It is the law of life itself. Every single thing that you now experience began first in imagination, either consciously or unconsciously. Most people live believing that life happens to them, that they are subject to chance, fate, or random events. But this is the great misunderstanding. Nothing is random. Nothing comes by accident. Everything that comes into your world does so through your inner state, through the image and feeling you consistently hold in your imagination. The lottery, like any manifestation, is not a matter of luck, it is a matter of consciousness. You do not win the lottery by hoping or trying harder than others. You win by assuming that you are already the one who wins. Not by forcing it, but by becoming it in imagination first. You must feel what it feels like to have already received what you desire before there is any physical evidence. This is how the unseen becomes the seen. When you imagine something with feeling, with faith, and you return to it often, you plant a seed in the deep of consciousness. That seed will grow. It must. It is law. Just as a seed planted in soil must break through the surface in its time, so too will your imagined reality break through into the world of form. The outer world is only a reflection of the inner world. What you see on the outside is always trailing what you have accepted as true on the inside. And so if you desire a lottery win, you must assume the consciousness of a winner. Not in arrogance, but in certainty. There must be no separation between who you are and who you desire to be. If you say, I will win the lottery, you are pushing the event into the future. You are declaring separation. But if you say, I am the winner, you claim time. You claim it now. You bring the feeling of the future into this moment, and that changes everything. Your imagination is not a toy. It is the creative power of the universe individualized in you. Whatever you dare to imagine as true and sustain with belief will become your reality. There is no other way. There is no exception. It is not that some are lucky and some are not. It is that some are awake to their power and others are still asleep to it. Every day use this gift. Do not use your imagination to dwell on fear or lack. Do not rehearse failure. Do not replay disappointment. That too will become your reality if you allow it to take root. Instead, deliberately imagine the life you want. Live in the scene of your fulfilled desire. Feel it as real now. Walk, talk, and breathe as if it is already yours. See yourself holding the winning ticket. Feel the energy in your hands. Hear the announcement that your numbers have been drawn. Watch your bank balance rise. Smell the new car. Taste the celebration. Hear the laughter of friends. These are not fantasies. These are rehearsals of reality. And the more vivid you make them, the faster they solidify into form. You must understand, imagination creates reality. It always has. And the one who knows this and uses it with discipline, with joy, with faith, will see miracles. Not because the universe suddenly favors them, but because they have aligned with the truth that the power to shape life is already within them. So stop waiting. Stop hoping. Start imagining with boldness. Assume the feeling of your desire now. Speak from the end. Live from the end. And let the world rearrange itself to reflect your new state of being. The lottery is not out there. It is already within you, waiting to be claimed through the door of imagination. The power of the spoken word is often underestimated, yet it is one of the most profound forces shaping our reality. Words are not merely sounds or symbols, they are creative acts. When you speak words with intention and feeling, you impress upon your subconscious mind a new reality. This new reality then begins to take shape in your external world. The repetition of powerful affirmations is the vehicle through which this transformation occurs. It aligns your inner state with the reality of already having what you desire, such as winning the lottery, and sets into motion the unseen forces that bring it to manifestation. When you repeatedly declare something, especially in the present tense as if it is already true, you are essentially planting a command into your subconscious. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is imagined or what is factual. It simply responds to what it accepts as true. Affirmations work because they bypass the critical, doubting mind and speak directly to the deeper parts of your being that govern your beliefs, emotions, and habits. When you affirm, "I am a winner," "I have already received my lottery winnings," or "money flows easily and abundantly to me," you are creating a mental impression that shapes your feelings and expectations. This process is subtle but incredibly powerful. It is not about forcing or demanding. It is about aligning yourself inwardly with the reality you wish to experience outwardly. When your inner world matches the frequency of your desire, the external world begins to reflect that alignment. The spoken word acts as a bridge between your inner conviction and the physical universe. By repeating affirmations daily, you cultivate a state of mind and heart that no longer doubts the outcome, but expects it as inevitable. It is important to understand that affirmations are not magic spells or empty phrases. Their potency lies in the feeling and faith behind them. Saying "I am wealthy" with a disconnected mind or a doubtful heart will not produce the results you seek. But when you say it with feeling the joy, relief, gratitude, and confidence that come from already possessing wealth, you create a vibration that draws that reality towards you. The word becomes a seed sown deeply within your consciousness, and as you nurture it through repetition and feeling, it grows and unfolds into your experience. Another vital aspect is the present tense. Saying "I will win the lottery" keeps the prize in the future, a place of uncertainty. But when you say "I am the winner," you declare your possession of it now. This shifts your consciousness from longing to having, from lack to abundance. The subconscious mind lives entirely in the present moment and responds accordingly. It will strive to make your inner reality visible because for it, what you accept as true now is what you must embody. Repetition is essential because the subconscious mind is deeply ingrained with old beliefs, habits, and mental patterns. One or two affirmations spoken once or twice are not enough to rewrite a lifetime of programming. But consistent daily repetition begins to replace the old mental recordings with new ones. Over time, your identity shifts. You become a person who naturally thinks, feels, and acts from the state of having already achieved the desire. As this inner transformation occurs, you will notice changes in your behavior, choices, and opportunities. You will find yourself making decisions that support your new reality. You will be drawn to people, situations, and ideas that confirm and accelerate your manifestation. The external world becomes a mirror of your inner state. This is why the spoken word is creative. It does not merely describe reality, it shapes it. It builds the bridge between what is imagined and what is experienced. To harness this power, you must choose your words carefully and speak them often. Make your affirmations vivid, positive, and full of feeling. Repeat them with conviction every day. Speak as though your desire is already fulfilled. In doing so, you are no longer a passive dreamer hoping for change. You become the conscious creator of your life. The lottery win or any other desire is not something you wait for. It is something you claim with your word and your belief. The universe responds not to what you wish or fear, but to what you know and declare as true. Therefore, the world is creative. It is the tool through which you align your inner world with the reality of your dreams. Speak wisely. Speak daily. Speak with faith and watch as the invisible becomes visible, as the imagined becomes real. To manifest your deepest desires, you must go beyond mere wishing or hoping. The key lies in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This means that you enter into the emotional and mental state as if your desire, such as winning the lottery, is already a present reality. It is not about imagining the future, but about living in the feeling of the end result now. When you fully embody this feeling, you send a magnetic vibration out into the universe that draws your desire toward you. The emotion you feel is the signal, the power, the unseen force that brings the intangible into form. Most people look at manifestation as something to be achieved in the future. They say, I want this or I hope to receive that. But hope is a double-edged sword because it keeps your desire at a distance and creates a gap between you and your goal. The secret is to close that gap by emotionally placing yourself on the other side of it. Feel what it would feel like to hold the lottery winnings in your hand, to see the numbers match, to hear the confirmation of your success. When you do this, you are not pretending or fooling yourself. You are stepping into the truth of your desire. Feeling the wish fulfilled is about more than just mental pictures or fleeting daydreams. It is about engaging all your senses and emotions so vividly that the experience feels real in your present moment. Imagine the joy, relief, excitement, and gratitude flooding your heart. Imagine the peace that comes from knowing your financial needs are met effortlessly. Let these feelings saturate your entire being until they become your dominant state. This dominant feeling is what magnetizes the reality to you, because energy follows emotion. When you carry the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your subconscious mind accepts this as fact. It no longer sees your desire as a distant goal or a possibility. It perceives it as the current reality to be maintained and protected. This shifts your entire energy system. Your thoughts, words, and actions align naturally with your new state of being. You act from a place of confidence, certainty, and abundance rather than lack or desperation. This alignment is what activates the unseen forces that bring your desire into the physical world. Emotions are the language of the subconscious. Your subconscious mind responds powerfully to the feelings you cultivate. If you feel fear, doubt, or anxiety, you strengthen those vibrations and prolong the absence of your desire. But if you feel joy, certainty, and gratitude, as if you already have what you want, you build a vibration that matches the frequency of fulfillment. This is why feeling the wish fulfilled is indispensable. It is the emotional fuel that powers your manifestation engine. This practice also requires faith. Not blind faith, but a deep knowing that what you feel is true, even if your outer circumstances have not yet changed. Faith is the bridge between imagination and reality. You may not see the lottery numbers yet, but you can feel the essence of having them. This feeling must be nurtured daily, with patience and persistence. The world you see is the reflection of the world you feel inside. By cultivating the feeling of having already won, you are rewriting the script of your life and inviting the external to catch up. Some may wonder if this feels like deception or self-delusion, but it is neither. It is the art of conscious creation. When you feel the wish fulfilled, you tap into a deeper truth that what you desire already exists in the realm of possibility, waiting for your alignment. Your emotion is the key that unlocks the door. Without it, your desires remain seeds planted but never watered. In practical terms, you can practice this by daily visualization, combined with emotional engagement. Close your eyes and imagine receiving your lottery prize. See the numbers, feel the excitement in your chests, hear the cheers, taste the sweetness of victory. Let gratitude wash over you for this gift. Hold this state for as long as you can. Return to it throughout your day, anchoring yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. By doing this consistently, you reprogram your subconscious mind, transform your vibration, and prepare yourself to receive. The universe does not resist the feeling of fulfillment. It responds to it by orchestrating the events, opportunities, and circumstances that bring your imagined desire into your hands. Therefore, the greatest power you have is to feel now what you want to feel later. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and watch as the invisible threads of manifestation weave your desire into your reality. The lottery or any other dream is not a distant prize. It is a present state of consciousness waiting for you to claim it. Faith is the invisible force that transforms dreams into reality. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the intangible and the tangible. Without faith, manifestation falters. With faith, the impossible becomes inevitable. Doubt is the enemy of creation. When doubt enters the mind, it acts like a poison that dissolves the seeds of your desires before they have the chance to grow. On the other hand, belief acts as the fertile soil in which those seeds can take root, sprout, and bloom into full form. To truly manifest your desires, such as winning the lottery, you must cultivate unwavering faith, a faith so strong that it outshines all questions, fears, and uncertainties. Many people struggle because they want to see evidence before they believe. They demand physical proof first, and only then do they allow themselves to trust. This is backward. Faith requires you to believe first, even when there is no visible sign. When you speak your desire aloud, you must do so with conviction, without hesitation or mental resistance. Saying, "I am the lottery winner," is not just a wish, it is a declaration of your truth. But if the mind immediately asks, "How will this happen?" or "Is this really possible?" you fracture the energy of your belief and delay the manifestation. Faith dissolves all questions because it understands that the how is not your concern. The how belongs to the creative intelligence of the universe, the unseen power that arranges circumstances beyond your control. Your role is simply to hold your belief steady, to maintain your vision and feeling without wavering. When you trust fully, you align yourself with the flow of life and allow the creative process to unfold naturally. Doubt, however, interrupts this flow and creates resistance. It pulls you away from your vision and back into limitation. Belief creates form because it sets the energetic pattern that reality must follow. Your mind and emotions send signals into the world, and the universe responds by arranging events that match the frequency of your faith. When you speak confidently, "I am the winner," and believe it without question, you are impressing a new reality onto the fabric of existence. This reality begins as a subtle vibration and gradually takes shape in physical form. The stronger your faith, the quicker and clearer this formation becomes. It is important to remember that faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is an inner knowing, a certainty that transcends logic and circumstance. It is the quiet assurance that what you desire already exists in the realm of possibility and that it is yours to claim. This knowing does not depend on external evidence. It is a state of consciousness that you cultivate within. When you nurture this faith daily, it becomes unshakable, like a rock standing firm against the winds of doubt. To strengthen your faith, repeat your affirmations and declarations with feeling and confidence. Speak your desire as though it is already done, as though you are simply reporting a fact. Do not entertain the thoughts that challenge your belief. When doubts arise, and they will, acknowledge them briefly, then gently return your focus to the affirmation. This practice trains your subconscious mind to accept the new reality and reject limiting thoughts. Faith also invites patience. Sometimes manifestations do not appear immediately in the form you expect. Faith trusts the timing and process of the universe, knowing that everything is working behind the scenes to bring your desire into being. Impatience or skepticism can weaken your faith and slow down the manifestation. Instead, cultivate calm confidence. See your desire clearly in your mind's eye, feel the joy of having it now, and trust that it is unfolding perfectly. By embracing faith, you no longer live as a passive dreamer hoping for a better future. You become an active creator, wielding the power of belief to shape your world. Your spoken words become commands to the universe. Your inner conviction becomes the blueprint for reality. And your unwavering faith becomes the magnet that draws your desire into form. So speak boldly, believe fiercely, let go of the need to understand how it will happen. When you do, you open the door for miracles to enter your life. Faith is the light that makes the invisible visible and the force that turns dreams into your tangible experience. The world you see around you is not separate from you. It is a reflection of the conversations you hold within your own mind. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak silently to yourself, forms an invisible script that shapes your experience. This internal dialogue is the foundation upon which your outer reality is built. If your inner conversation is one of scarcity, doubt, or limitation, your external world will mirror those same qualities. Conversely, if you cultivate thoughts and feelings of abundance, success, and wealth, your world will respond accordingly, reflecting back to you the fulfillment of those inner truths. Your subconscious mind is the gatekeeper that listens carefully to your inner dialogue. It takes your repeated thoughts and feelings as commands, programming your beliefs, attitudes, and ultimately your actions. When you say wealth in your mind, feel wealth in your heart, and live as if you are wealth itself, you create an energetic signature that the universe must respond to. This signature becomes a magnetic field that attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities aligned with the reality of abundance. Most people underestimate the power of their inner conversation because it happens quietly, behind the scenes. Yet it is in these silent moments that the seeds of your reality are planted and nurtured. Imagine your thoughts as a script you play over and over in a movie theater within your mind. This movie shapes your emotions, your self-image, and your expectations. If you replay a script of lack and struggle, your feelings will align with those scenes, and your outer life will follow suit. If instead, you replay a script of wealth, success, and prosperity, you begin to shift your emotional state, and your external conditions will begin to reflect this new story. We're saying wealth is not just about uttering the word, it is about embodying its meaning. When you say, "I am wealthy," or "money flows easily to me," your mind starts to accept these statements as facts. But it is the feeling behind these words that truly matters. Feeling wealth is about cultivating the sensations that accompany abundance: joy, freedom, confidence, and gratitude. These feelings create a powerful vibration that resonates throughout your being and broadcasts your state to the universe. As you feel wealthy, your thoughts become aligned, your actions become inspired, and your life begins to embody that truth. Becoming wealth means living from the state of already having what you desire. It means acting, thinking, and feeling as if the reality you want is already yours. This state transforms your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who is waiting for wealth, but as someone who naturally possesses it. This shift in identity is crucial because your outer world cannot rise above the level of your self-concept. If you see yourself as poor or lacking, your world will continue to reflect that. But when you expand your self-image to include wealth, your external circumstances will gradually change to mirror this new perception. The mirror of your outer world is faithful. It never lies or distorts. It simply reflects what you hold inside. This means that any change you wish to see externally must begin internally. To change your financial reality, for example, start by changing the conversation you have with yourself about money. Stop telling yourself stories of scarcity or difficulty. Instead, tell yourself stories of abundance and ease. Repeat affirmations that reinforce your wealth consciousness. Feel the emotions of being prosperous. Live daily as though you are already wealthy. This inner work is not a one-time effort but a continuous process. Your mind will habitually try to revert to old scripts because they are familiar. This is natural, but it does not mean you cannot rewrite your script. With persistence and awareness, you can choose new thoughts, new words, and new feelings that serve your highest good. Over time, these new internal conversations become your dominant reality, and your external world shifts accordingly. You are the author of your own story, and your inner conversation is the pen. By consciously choosing to say wealth, feel wealth, and become wealth, you rewrite your story in a way that manifests abundance in your life. Your outer world will respond by reflecting the richness of your inner dialogue. This is the creative power you hold, the power to shape your reality through the words you speak to yourself, the feelings you nurture, and the identity you embrace. Your world is a mirror reflecting your inner conversations. Speak wisely, feel deeply, and live boldly as the wealthy person you are becoming. Time is often seen as a rigid, linear progression. Seconds ticking by, days passing, and events unfolding in a sequence. But this perception of time is an illusion, a construct of the mind that separates you from the true nature of your desires. When it comes to manifestation, the moment you declare your desire and fully believe in it, it already exists in the realm of reality. The idea that you must wait for it to arrive, that it will come in the future, keeps you trapped in a false timeline and delays the fulfillment that is already yours. Understanding that time is an illusion frees you from the trap of waiting. Waiting implies a gap between now and the moment of fulfillment, as if your desire is somewhere out there, in a distant tomorrow. But the truth is that your desire, once imagined and believed, is already complete and perfect in the unseen world. The universe does not operate according to your clock. It responds to your state of consciousness. When you know your desire is already done, you align yourself with its reality now, not later. Declaring your desire is more than simply saying words. It is a statement of faith and conviction. When you say, "I have already won the lottery," or "I am already living in abundance," you are making a bold claim about your reality. This declaration must be met with unwavering belief. Belief is the key that unlocks the door to timeless manifestation. It removes the mental resistance created by doubt, hesitation, and uncertainty. Once you truly believe, the desire ceases to exist as a future event and becomes your present experience, regardless of external circumstances. Your task is not to wait anxiously or impatiently for the external world to reflect your desire. Instead, your task is to know deep within your being that what you want is already yours. This knowing is a state of consciousness, a feeling of certainty that transcends time. It is the inner awareness that shifts your vibration to match the frequency of your fulfilled desire. When your inner world is aligned with the outcome, the outer world must follow. The illusion of time also causes many to struggle with feelings of lack and frustration. They see their desire as a missing piece, something to be obtained in the future, rather than a current reality waiting to be acknowledged. This mindset keeps them stuck in a cycle of wanting and waiting, never fully embracing the power of the present moment. But by recognizing time as an illusion, you release these limiting beliefs and step into a higher truth, that your desire is already a fact, unseen but undeniable. The shift in perspective transforms how you live each moment. Instead of focusing on when or how, you focus on now. You act, think, and feel from the place of having already received. This is not wishful thinking, but a deliberate choice to inhabit the reality of your fulfilled desire. You live as though the lottery numbers have already been drawn, as though your bank account already reflects abundance. This state of being is magnetic, drawing the physical manifestation into your life with ease and grace. By embracing the timelessness of manifestation, you free yourself from the anxiety and impatience that often accompany desire. You cultivate patience not as waiting passively, but as a serene knowing that everything is perfectly arranged. You trust the unseen process, confident that your declaration and belief have set into motion forces beyond your control, but fully in your favor. Time does not govern your manifestation, your state of consciousness does. The moment you declare and believe your desire, it is done. Your role is to embody this truth and live it fully in the present moment. When you do, you align yourself with the infinite power that transcends time and space. In this knowing there is peace, there is power. There is the freedom to experience your desires as if they are already here, unfolding naturally without struggle or delay. Time, then, becomes your ally, not a barrier, but a fluid dimension through which your manifestations move effortlessly from the unseen into the seen. It is not the ticking clock that creates your reality. It is your unwavering belief that makes the invisible visible. The lottery, the dream, the desire is already done. Your task is simply to know it and live it now. The power to create your reality lies not outside of you, but within your own mind and heart. When you hold unwavering faith, speak with conviction, feel the fulfillment now, and understand that time is but an illusion, you align yourself with the natural flow of manifestation. Your inner world shapes your outer experience. And by consciously directing your thoughts and feelings, you magnetize your desires like winning the lottery into your life. So say it daily, believe it fully, and watch as what was once unseen becomes your undeniable reality. Thank you.